I think that sets us apart as far as like hosts and creators. Drac and I are very active in the drag community.
Yeah. What it was.
Oh my God. Yeah, sometimes people see what you're doing and then they like to go ahead and do it right quick too.
Yeah.
Of all the monsters who competed and fell, the 7 of you showed great promise. We're giving you a second chance to prove your worth and return to the land of the living. And that's not all.
You see, instead of you coming to us, we're going to come to you.
We've got 7 people coming back. What was the process of picking the contestants?
So the idea behind the contestants that we wanted to bring back was that they had to be contestants who we thought had more to show. So some of them were only on their season for a short period of time, and we knew they were real big stars, but they didn't get the opportunity to show that. And the other thing was that they have to be really into Halloween. So that's what helped us determine which people we wanted to pick.
So there's some fan favorites always that didn't make it. So does that mean that we're never going to see them on another Dragula type show, or what's your thinking?
I would never, ever say never. You know, the premise of Dragula Resurrection was sort of born out of these extraordinary circumstances that we find ourselves in now with the pandemic. And I think amazing things can happen sometimes when you are brave enough to notice those opportunities and go forward. So this is just a new way that we wanted to feature some of our past contestants. And I think it ignites the fan base. It gives other monsters from all 3 seasons of the show a chance to step back into the arena and compete once again. It's very exciting. It's new. You know, it's a new concept that fans may not be familiar with because, you know, other shows don't necessarily approach this idea that way. As far as the future, I think that there's a great chance that you would see other fan favorites from all the seasons of Dragula, and that format could be completely different from this. It probably would be.
That's the thing. It has to be the right format. You know, the people that we picked for this special were right for this special. And for the time, it was important for us too that there were people that the people that we brought back were people that had something important to say and were willing to open up to the cameras and get very personal. That's what we were looking for this time around. And again, the Halloween thing's really important. There were fan favorites that maybe just aren't a fit for Halloween, but maybe they'd be great for a Christmas special. Who knows?
There's another aspect to this too. You know, we wanted to pick artists that kind of represent the tenets of Dragula. So some of them were more filthy. Some of them definitely come from like the horror sector. We have glamour queens, and we wanted to make sure that there was a nice array of all the things that we look for in a Dragula contestant.
Not everybody's ready to come back and open their lives up like that too. That's something else that people at home have to realize. Not everybody that was on the show is ready to go through that again. It's a lot for the competitors to come on TV and open up their lives, and they get judged and they get, you know, messed with online, and not everybody wants that right now, you know?
I know that you said before that this show sort of shows a really different side of things, and you said maybe like some of the better bits of Dragula. Like, because of this format, is there any part of it that you would take maybe into the show to expand on that?
So the show is always going to evolve. The Boulet Brothers Dragula as a show is going to evolve as we are inspired. Just like season 3 is so different from season 1, season 4 is going to be different from season 3. Our formula will evolve. I'm not going to tell you how because we want people to be surprised, but yeah, it will definitely, the format will evolve as times change.
We actually took a gamble and we weren't sure exactly how this format would feel. So to our pleasure and surprise, we actually loved the experience, and I think all of the contestants really did too. We're very proud of the footage. It is a intimate portrait of 7 artists that, you know, span the country during these crazy times. So it's a really interesting thing. And I wouldn't be surprised if you saw the touch of Resurrection forward into season 4. Like some of the things that we did, I think will carry forward because it's enlightening and it's interesting and it's real, and they're real queer stories, and we really want to lean into that.
So in Resurrection, we've got some people who made it to the final, and we've got some people who were early out. So you would think in theory that it would make it quite obvious as who's going to do better in the show, but is that how it is, or are there some surprises?
That's not how it is at all. You know, something that we always say about our show is just because someone went home first does not mean they're as talented as someone that made it to the top 3. It's really about timing on our show. We cast stars. We cast people that we think all have the potential to make it to the end. So if someone went home early, it just is probably because the challenge that came up first didn't fit their skill set, unfortunately, you know? So it's very random who ends up making it to the end and not. I think everyone on our show, all of them are stars, all of them are incredibly talented. I think all of them would make great TV, and we'd love to have any of them back on in this kind of format.
Another aspect would be too to consider that some of them who may have gone out earlier in their season realize the gravity of this opportunity, and they come into this arena ferocious. I mean, they understand that they're given another shot, so they have this vitality to everything that they do, and they take nothing for granted.
Especially people from season 1, I think they feel like they're a little bit of the lost season. And so
they thought we forgot about them,
but
I think
we
haven't.
did. We definitely haven't. You know, I love season 1. I have a really special place in my heart for everyone that was on season 1 because it was pioneering and it was really punk and raw, and it just had the heart of Dragula. So I'd be glad to have any of them back, honestly.
Whoever wins obviously gets a place on season 4, and they get prize money as well. Do you think that having more money will give them a bigger advantage when the season comes out?
I mean, I think money greases the wheels for some people, but I don't necessarily think that's a ticket to victory or anything like that. Sometimes innovation is worth way more than money. You can make things from nothing. If you're a talented artist, money doesn't really hold you back.
Yeah, we don't want to reward people for having money or resources. We really want to try to balance the playing field with this and a future season of the show.
So with season 4 having a returning contestant, do you ever worry that it's gonna put people off applying because it might look like they've got such an advantage?
We've thought about that, I think briefly, but if that scares you away, then you don't have what it takes to be on the show.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And with season 4 being paused and us being in lockdown, has it given you even more ideas about what you want to do with the show?
Well, we have no shortage of ideas.
We have too many.
Yeah, we have too many. So I think maybe it allowed us to pare it down and finesse it a little bit. It just means we have more, in the chamber to fire when we get the green light.
We're excited to work again. You know, I think everybody is really. So once the proverbial smoke clears and we can all freely roam the world again, I think we're going to be more than ready to really let it rip on the 4th season.
For sure. I mean, we can go now. Things are different now than they were 4 months ago, It's difficult, but you can do it.
And in some ways, this lockdown has given people an advantage because they've been focusing so much on digital drag and what else they can do. So do you think that will change the landscape of how people apply for season 4 and how prepared they come?
Their videos might be better because a lot of drag performers have had to learn the art of video making now. So I expect their audition tapes to be better. But again, I don't care how much lighting and production you have. If you don't have that star power and you don't have that innovation, it really isn't going to help you.
And obviously this must be the first year for you guys that you're not doing a big Halloween show. So what are you doing instead?
Well, we're doing this.
Yeah. This has really, Dragula Resurrection has really supercharged our October. There is a sadness in our hearts and in our house because it's not just the lack of our Halloween ball, which is something we've done every year for 20 years, but the whole city, Los Angeles, is such a special place to live for the Halloween season. Everything is activated. I urge anyone who loves Halloween to come to LA in October because there are so many haunts and amusement attractions and hay rides and mazes and just so many ways. And then of course it culminates in the Boulet Brothers, Halloween ball, our annual big bash. So not this year, but next year for sure.
Yeah, and who knows what might happen by the time Halloween rolls around.
Well, it's pretty soon.
There may be some surprises out there.
So traveling to contestants' homes for this show is obviously a completely different experience for you. Was there anyone that was particularly surprising that you didn't expect to live how they do?
I don't think so. I think we know our competitors. We know the people that we cast pretty well. They've worked. It's some of them we've known before we even did the show. We used to hire Dali for the Boulet Brothers Dragula when it was a party. And I mean,
Loris as well, Frankie. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, Meatball, a lot of them we kind of know outside of the world of the TV show. I think that sets us apart as far as hosts and creators. Drac and I are very active in the drag community. So we were running Los Angeles-based events for years, and we would hire drag queens from basically from all over the world, and people knew if they were coming in from the UK or Rue girls or even any Dragula girls, friends of ours, from the most famous and successful down to like brand newbies. We like to give everybody an opportunity to be on our stage.
That being said, we kind of knew them pretty well before we went to their houses. I mean,
Yeah.
It was fun to get to spend time with them. I'll say that, because we don't get to do that very often. We're all super busy, and how often is it that one of us has like, hey, let me come and be at your house for a week? Not often. So that was really nice, and I think we and they enjoyed it, honestly.
Yeah, I'd agree.
This whole show has seemed to come together quite quickly from like our perspective of how things are working. So what was it like for you having to adapt to this brand new climate?
I mean, we practice what we preach. We live by what we talk about to the competitors on the show. So the circumstances were crazy, the risks were kind of large. We looked at each other and we said, we're gonna commit to do this, and we did. And it was a lot. It was a lot to ask for us personally and our team. Everybody kind of stuck their neck out to become exposed potentially, to the COVID pandemic that's going around. So it was kind of a dangerous thing, but once we look at each other and we set our eyes on a target, we are like machines.
Yeah, the idea has actually been floating around for a while. It's been pinned to the board for quite some time, but we just never thought we'd have the time to do it. Everything's so busy all the time to actually say, we're going to chop off 3 months of our life and hit the road. I'm like, we're never going to have time to do it. But it just started to come more into focus. And there was a couple other formats for the special that we could have went with, and this one just kept coming to the forefront. Like, I felt like the universe was giving us signs that this was the right thing to do. And even though it seemed impossible at one time, it just started to seem more and more possible until all of a sudden we were on the road. And then I was like, well, I guess we're doing this.
Yeah.
Was there any moments where you thought that maybe it wasn't going to happen, or it wasn't going to go what it was?
Oh my God.
Yes, actually the first night we were in the hotels, and I fell asleep, and I woke up like maybe an hour later, and I was like in a total panic, and I was like, what the fuck are we doing? I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I was like, this is like, what are we doing? Like, this person's gonna get sick, or this is gonna happen, or that. And it was just like, no, and that happened for like 2 or 3 nights, and then we settled into it and we loved it. And you just have to be extremely safe. You just have to, we looked like astronauts visiting these places. We had like face shields and masks and temperatures. And I mean, everything was so super careful that it was like, we looked ridiculous, honestly. But it kind of made the fear go away after a while. I felt like we kind of grew more comfortable, and then it was okay after that.
So seeing how you feel about this show, does it make you want to continue the Dragula special thing and sort of make it a more annual event?
I think the possibility is there. It was exciting, but we regular seasons of the show, we have tons of ideas for future challenges and future exterminations and even monsters that we keep our eye on all year round. We have other ideas for formats too.
Yeah.
Like, this is just one concept for like a spin-off, something to kind of born in the idea of Dragula but different. So we have other ideas that we, I wouldn't be surprised to see if they come into focus and start happening this year too.
Yeah, you just have to be careful about saying them out loud, because some people get onto them real quickly, and
sometimes people see what you're doing and then they like to go ahead and do it right quick too.
It happens.
It happens. We're used to it.
No, we have a lot of fun ideas. Honestly, I feel like the stars from all 3 seasons of the show are so powerful and interesting and funny and entertaining that, and I always feel like any chance to get them back on camera, I'm down for it.
When I spoke to you before, you said that you had a lot of things planned for 2020. So is it the case that you're just moving it on to 2021, or have you got more things happening and coming up now?
Everything just had to get pushed forward a little bit, Yeah.
This is my moment, and I'm gonna take it.
I should have stayed, but I didn't.
It was the scariest moment of my whole life.
I am so much more talented than any of those other girls. I'm that bitch.
You're not even pretty.
If you cannot change with the times, you will get lost in history.
This is like Kendra 2.0, bitch.
See you in season 4.